Let's start with a moment of honesty. Does running your sacred business sometimes feel like an endless swirl of what should I even be focusing on today? If so, you're not alone. That's exactly why I created Sacred Business Circle, a space where you receive clear, soul aligned business guidance every single week. No more wandering, no more overthinking, just steady, supportive momentum alongside a beautiful community of sacred entrepreneurs. It's open now. And if it speaks to you, you'll find a link in the show notes. But for now, let's drop into today's conversation. I want to invite you into a different way of thinking about how you open your spaces, whether it's a group program, mastermind, or retreat. When most people think about an orientation or a kickoff call, they picture a logistic rundown. Here's what to expect. Here's where to find things. Here's how to ask questions. But what if, before all of that, you welcomed your participants into the deeper energy of the experience? What if your opening wasn't just an introduction, but a threshold moment, a moment where your people didn't just show up, but truly arrived? That's exactly what I created inside of Devoted Energy Coaching School when we opened up our space. I designed the opening so that every person felt fully present, fully seen, and deeply connected before we even began. So today, I'll walk you through exactly how I do it, why it matters, and how you can bring this into your own programs. So let's step in together. Welcome to Sacred Strategy, the business and energy podcast where bold strategies meet the magic of energy and intuition. I'm Sora Schilling, sacred space holder, business alchemist, and creator of the Devoted Archetypes, Sovereign Selling, and the Devoted Energy Coaching Model. For over a decade, I've guided thousands of coaches and space holders to build thriving, soul-aligned businesses that create impact and life-changing money. Let's cut through the noise of traditional strategies and uncover your unique medicine. Use the devoted archetypes to become a transformational space holder and learn to sovereignly sell with integrity. This podcast is your invitation to step into your magic and create a blissfully abundant business and life filled with curiosity, awe, and wonder. Let's dive in. Here's what I see happen way too often. A new group space opens, whether it's a mastermind, retreat, a coaching program, and the first session jumps straight into the logistics, schedules, expectations, maybe a round of generic intros, but something is missing. The energy feels scattered. People are hesitant. The transformation you know is possible feels like it's just out of reach. Why? Because there was no moment where the portal opened. An opening ceremony isn't just a quote nice ritual. It's a necessary energetic threshold that allows your participants to shift from everyday life into the sacred work ahead. Without it, they may enter your space physically, but not fully, not with their hearts, not with their trust, not with the readiness to receive or to be vulnerable and open to the connection that could be made. So if you've ever wondered why your group takes a while to, quote, warm up, this is it. The opening moments of your program aren't just about structure. They are an energetic initiation. Here's what happens when you approach this moment with intention. Number one, it creates a sense of belonging. People feel safer to open up when they experience the space as warm, welcoming, and deeply intentional. Two, it shifts the energy from learning to embodiment. Instead of participants saying or staying in their heads, they drop into their hearts. They're invited to engage, receive, and be present, not just absorb information. Three, it invites playfulness and ease. Many of us enter learning spaces with old conditioning, the fear of getting things wrong or needing to perform. A thoughtful, well-crafted opening melts away the tension and welcomes curiosity and belonging. And lastly, it honors the journey ahead. This isn't just another program that you're hosting. It's a container for transformation. And the journey deserves to begin with reverence. This is how I open space for my energy coaching students, and I'll walk you through how you can do the same. So let's talk about how I open the space. The first is affirming who they already are. One of the first things I share with my students was that they were already an energy coach, not someday, not after completing the program. This is already true now. So often, when we step into new spaces, we feel like we have to prove ourselves that we're not there yet, that there's an expectation of what will happen in the future. And for me, as a space holder, I desired to dismantle that right away. And so I told my gems, this is not about proving, this is about remembering. You already hold the wisdom. My role is simply to guide you in unlocking and deepening what is already present within you. Now, when you do this in your own opening ceremony with your group, the shift in energy is immediate. You can feel the softening, the recognition. It is a powerful moment of anchoring into the group. Okay, so the second thing is inviting playfulness into the space. Sacred work is profound, absolutely, and it is intentional and deep, but it also thrives in joy, in lightness, and in curiosity. And so I reminded my students that energy work is not about getting it right, that their practice will be as unique as they are, and that exploration is part of the journey. And so to have a good time. I also reminded them that when we let go of the pressure to be perfect, we become more present, more creative, and more attuned to our magic. And so I invite you, when you are hosting your ceremonial experience, when you're opening space with your group, to make sure that you identify the elephant in the room. What are the emotions and the hesitations that they might be feeling? And give them permission through the playfulness of exploration that they don't have to get it right and they don't have to be perfect. More importantly, it's about curiosity and the openness. All right. So the third thing is I then moved into the opening breath work. So before diving into conversations, having them share out loud, I guide them through a grounding breath. And so I may say something like this. On the inhale, feel yourself arriving fully into the space, connecting to the energy of the group. On the exhale, imagine yourself offering your breath as a blessing, connecting your presence to the earth. This simple energetic practice shifts the room from being focused only on the person and about their feeling of discomfort or hesitation or nervousness into crossing the energetic threshold and inviting everyone to become more present, to become more connected, and to realize that this is a group experience. The way you open a space shapes everything that follows. It's the difference between a group that feels instantly connected and one that stays surface level for weeks or, sometimes for months. If you've ever wondered how to create an opening that anchors your participants, deepens trust, and sets the tone for transformation, I have something for you. Inside of Sacred Business Circle, you'll get access to the Art of Opening Sacred Space practical guidebook for facilitators, a resource designed to help you craft an intentional and powerful opening ceremony for your groups, masterminds, and retreats. Inside, you'll find a ceremony outline to guide your group into presence and connection, thoughtful prompts and questions to weave into your opening, a loose script to help you create a seamless, heart-centered experience, and a look at the energetic shifts that unfolds when you open space with intention. This guidebook is exclusively available inside of Sacred Business Circle, my membership space that I share weekly business insights, behind-the-scenes strategies, and practical tools for soulful entrepreneurs. If you want the guide and a space where you're supported in growing a business that feels sacred, come join us inside of Sacred Business Circle on Substack. Your work is powerful. Let's open the space with intention. You'll find more in the show notes. Now that they've grounded and anchored into the present moment as a collective group, the next thing is to have a playful icebreaker question. So rather than typical introductions like, what brought you here? What do you desire? I invite my students to choose between two questions. I often give more than one so that they don't have to feel like they have to choose and perform yet again. They can go ahead and honor whichever question feels true for them. So these are the two questions that I posed inside of the Devoted Energy Coaching School opening ceremony. I told them that they could pick one of the two. The first one was, if you could create a holiday, what would it be and how would people celebrate it? The second question was, what is one of the most magical and synchronistic experiences you've had in your life? Now, my gems were able to answer one of the two or answer both. The responses? Oh my gosh, each person came up with a brilliant holiday or shared a synchronistic experience. And there was so much laughter and joy, so many stories, and an instant sense of connection because we were getting to know each person on a very individual, unique, and fun way. It was more than just about getting to know each other. It was about stepping beyond roles and titles and into the richness of each person's essence, including my own as a space holder. And so it let go of me and the hierarchical nature of being the teacher. And instead, it allowed everyone to get to know me as a human being a little bit more, as well as I getting to know everyone else a little bit more as well. Okay, 5, defining space holding together. I then went and gave a definition in honor of Heather Plett's definition of space holding to remind them why we were together as energy coaches and what space holding really meant. And so I shared Heather Plett's definition of holding space means walking alongside someone's journey without trying to fix, control, or rush their transformation. I also indicated that this becomes the foundation of the work that we do together, not only honoring as each student becomes a coach, but because we're in a practicum space where they will all be client, coach, and space holder, that they too must recognize that they are not here to fix, control, or rush their own transformation process either. Next, we then created opportunities for witnessing. So rather than talking at my students, I built in breakout moments, spaces where they could witness and be witnessed and to be able to be with one another with and without me. Because the truth is, we don't grow in isolation. We heal, transform, and expand in community. All right. So if you're ready to bring more depth and intention into your group programs, here's a few ways to begin to weave this concept into your own group programs, masterminds, the beginning of your retreat. So firstly, begin with an energetic grounding, a short meditation, a breathwork moment, or intention setting ritual. Then use playful icebreakers. Encourage your group to meet each other in a way that feels light, joyful, and revealing, and also not generic. Then acknowledge who they already are. Speak to their innate wisdom and gifts even before they each begin, because they are sovereign, reverent beings. Introduce some shared agreements. Set the tone on how you desire for the group to be. So, for example, for Devoted Energy Coaching School, my intent is that, yes, we are doing some serious work here, but at the same time, it's all about imagination, play, fun, curiosity, awe, and wonder. And so I'm going to set that tone. Also, an invitation to create meaningful connections, having these opportunities where everyone gets to move beyond surface level introductions and create a space where people truly feel seen and open. Because when people feel safe, they open up. And when they open, transformation naturally unfolds and a sense of belonging happens. So, my love, I leave you with this. These are some questions for you to consider. How are you opening your space? What is your intentional act of devotion that creates an opening ceremony before a group continues to do anything? So, for example, for me, every year I host a retreat in Peru. It is 10 days long. Now, we all gather well before we are at the retreat. I host a monthly ceremony for all of those that say yes to the retreat, because we are about to endeavor into a deep transformational process, and we were all going to be together for longer than a couple of days. And so I host these monthly gatherings as a devotional act for people to get to know one another, to be committed to one another, and to feel at ease with one another, even well before they meet in person. I do the same thing with Lush Business Mastermind. Every month, there is an orientation where everyone gathers, those that are already in the container, those that are new, those that might be re entering. And there is a sacred act for people to orient themselves so that they know exactly what is happening. If you have a group program, I highly invite you before you begin to go deep into your process with your group that you host an opening ceremony. So, what do you do to invite depth, connection, and presence from the very first moment? And if you are already holding an opening ceremony, I'd love to hear about it. So please go ahead and share with me. Remember to follow me on Instagram at Devoted Way and leave me a comment, connect with me. And if this episode has sparked ideas for you, I'd love to know which elements you feel most called to weave into your work. Until next time, keep trusting your magic.